All right, let's dive right into this explainer and unpack the two major e-way bill compliance updates rolling out on August 1st, 2026. Honestly, if you're managing supply chains, configuring ERP systems, or dealing with tax compliance on a daily basis, this is one you absolutely cannot afford to miss. We're looking at a fundamental shift in exactly how supply chain data is captured and ultimately closed out.
To make sure we're getting this right, we're drawing directly from the official Goods and Services Tax Network FAQs that dropped on July 2nd. So no speculation here, just the hard facts straight from the source documents. This is exactly what your systems need to be ready for.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll briefly hit the 2026 e-way bill changes, then look at the mandatory Ship-to rules, talk about protecting trade secrecy, cover voluntary e-way bill closure, and finally wrap up with API impacts and system readiness. Kicking things off with Section 1, Mandatory Ship-to Rules. So, right off the bat, I know what you're probably wondering. Why? Why exactly is the government introducing this whole new data requirement? If the current system is chugging along fine, what's the actual motivation for slapping on another mandatory field? Well, it all boils down to the audit trail. The core goal here is to dramatically improve the traceability of how goods move. Basically, they want to close those sneaky loopholes where goods bypass the actual buyer's physical location. Adding this field lets authorized officers verify movement systematically without any of the old guesswork. Let's put these scenarios side by side so we're crystal clear on when this actually applies. In a standard, regular transaction, billing and physical movement happen between the exact same two parties. No Ship-to GSTIN needed there. But let's say Company A bills Company B, but ships the physical goods over to a third party, Company C. That is your classic bill-to/ship-to transaction. And in that specific case, capturing Company C's GSTIN is now absolutely mandatory. And if we scale this up to even wilder, more complex supply chain movements, say A bills B, but the goods are actually dispatched from C and delivered all the way to D, you've got to capture D's registered GSTI. No exceptions. And what if that final recipient isn't registered? The guidelines are clear. You just plug in the designation URP into the system for an unregistered person.
Moving right along to Section 2, Protecting Trade Secrecy.
Now, here is the massive elephant in the room. A lot of middlemen are stressing out, wondering if this is going to expose their competitive client lists. Because let's face it, your customer list is your lifeblood. You do not want your supplier cutting you out just because they saw the final destination printed on a form. But you can take a breath. The documents explicitly state that trade secrecy is elegantly protected. The Ship-to GSTIN is strictly back-end stuff. It's not going to be printed on the physical e-way bill, it won't be shown to transporters, and developers, listen up, it won't even show up in your GET API responses. It's for authorized officers' eyes only.
Okay, on to Section 3, Voluntary e-way bill closure. We really need to untangle these two terms because your systems are going to treat them totally differently. Cancellation is basically what you use when you messed up generating the bill or the truck never actually left the yard. Closure, on the other hand, is a brand new optional user action. It's how you actively declare to the system, hey, these goods have successfully and safely made it to their final destination. Timing-wise, you obviously want to close that e-way bill on the actual day of delivery if you can, but the system is pretty forgiving. They actually give you a nice little buffer window up to 1 full day after the bill's validity expires to log that closure. What I find super fascinating here is the sheer flexibility they've built in. Pretty much any key player can close this out. The supplier, the recipient, the transporter, you name it. You can do it bill by bill or bulk it by date. And get this, even the truck driver can close it right from their phone via a mobile portal, as long as their mobile number was linked when the e-way bill was generated. Talk about decentralized. Oh, and a quick kind of quirky technical detail for anyone designing user interfaces right now. If you choose to leave closure remarks in the system, you are hard-capped at exactly 100 characters. So, keep those delivery notes short and sweet.
Bringing it all home now with Section 4, API Impacts and System Readiness.
Developers, pay close attention to this because the API is going to be incredibly strict. Forget the Ship-to GSTIN in a combination transaction. Boom, you're getting an error 608. Accidentally send a Ship-to GSTIN in a standard, direct, regular transaction, that'll trigger an error 616. And if you try to get clever and put the exact same GSTIN for both the bill-to and ship-to fields, yeah, the system will catch that too and slap you with an error 618. But hey, don't panic just yet. They've baked in a transition phase. Right at the rollout, the APIs won't actually spit back a separate close status or close date.
The old framework of active, canceled, and discarded is sticking around for now. Plus, post-closure actions like updating vehicle details or extending validity will temporarily remain unlocked just to keep supply chains moving while everyone adjusts.
So let's wrap this up with a concrete, actionable checklist. Taxpayers, you need to map out your third-party locations right now. Transporters, start coordinating with taxpayers to get those details. ERP vendors, it's time to update those JSON payloads, and literally everyone involved needs to jump into the sandbox and start testing. Seriously, do not skip the sandbox testing.
Because remember, the magic date is the 1st, specifically August 1st, 2026. That is the absolute hard deadline when both the mandatory Ship-to rules and the voluntary closure facility go live in production.
Which leaves us with one massive question you need to go ask your IT team today. Are your systems, your data maps, and your entire supply chain genuinely ready to seamlessly navigate this dual mandate? The sandbox is wide open, the documentation is crystal clear, and the clock is officially ticking. Thanks so much for tuning into this explainer, and definitely go pull up those official GSTN docs to get your testing started right away.